Good morning, everyone. I wanted to talk a little bit about an astrological event coming up on January 2nd, so basically corresponding with the new year, and that is that Mars will be opposing Pluto. I've talked about this some previously. Because Mars is retrograde, we basically have three Mars-Pluto oppositions over a 6-month time period. And this is because, if we picture Pluto is here, Mars is coming forward, it opposes Pluto, it moves forward, Mars retrogrades, it moves back, it opposes Pluto, it moves back some more, it comes forward again, it opposes Pluto that third time. So we get two Mars-Pluto oppositions where Mars is moving forward direct, and we get one Mars-Pluto opposition where Mars is moving retrograde. So we already had one of these oppositions back on November 3rd. And that one was at 29 degrees of Cancer, 29 degrees of Capricorn. So at the very tail end of those two signs before Pluto moved into Aquarius, where it's going to now be for the next 20 years. So this next Mars-Pluto opposition that occurs on January 2nd is interesting and unique. Usually when we see a Mars-Pluto opposition, we kind of know what the next one in the series will look like. In this case, because the last one was in Capricorn and Cancer, and this next one will be in Leo and Aquarius, it's going to have a different feel. Pluto is in a completely different sign than it was for the last one in early November. Also, Mars is retrograde, whereas previously for the first one in this series, Mars was direct. So we have Mars retrograde instead of direct, and we have this occurring in two entirely different signs. So again, normally I would say look back at the beginning of November, and some of those energies there will be continued as we experience this next Mars-Pluto opposition. In some ways, that is still true. Mars and Pluto are still the two planets involved. But this has more of the feeling of, you may have two people who interact with each other, and they interact in a certain way, and they always have. But then some really big things change in their life. Maybe they used to be housemates, and now they are not housemates anymore. And so there's going to be a different flavor to that communication and that interaction and that relationship, but it is still the same main two players. So we're still dealing with Mars-Pluto. With Mars-Pluto, always there's going to be this balance and play of power dynamics. Mars tends to want to be forceful. Sometimes Mars doesn't mean badly, but it just is so in a hurry to move forward, so single-minded on its focus that it can kind of steamroll others. With Mars retrograde, that's even more likely. Retrogrades are times when it's hard to move forward and we end up taking 2 steps forward, realizing we misstepped and taking a step back. And so as we look at this Mars-Pluto opposition, some themes to think about are power balances in individual relationships you have, power dynamics in organizations, committees, groups you may be part of. We will, if there are imbalanced, if there is imbalanced power, we will feel that really strongly during this time. But it is important to remember that with Mars moving retrograde, it's hard to make forward progress. So with Mars moving retrograde, this is a good time to strategize and say, okay, if I look back, what do I not like about these power dynamics? What do I want to be different in the future? Maybe you're volunteering with an organization, for example, and you felt for a while that things are difficult. The power balance is not quite right. This might be a time of reflecting. How much does this organization mean to you? Are you willing to step forward and say, if things don't change in this way, maybe I don't want to be part of this organization anymore. So this is a time to really have those conversations with yourself. And the answer sometimes might be, I'm actually getting so much out of this relationship, this organization, that I'm okay with it, even if the power dynamics are a little off. The answer might be, I'm actually not okay with it if the power dynamics are off, or they are off so much that they would have to improve somewhat for me to still want to be part of this relationship, this organization. And then with Pluto, there really is always a sense of digging deep. So with Pluto, the first thought is probably not the right one. Probably the 40th thought is the right one. And so it's important to kind of spend some time reflecting, thinking about this, thinking about it today, for 10 minutes, then in a couple days, thinking about it again. With all of these like Pluto transits, it's good to sleep on it, think about it, don't make any crazy hasty decisions. And with Mars retrograde opposing Pluto, this is even more true. So allowing yourself the space to consider and reflect between now and January 2nd when this opposition goes exact. And it's a good time for strategizing. We talked about this in the Conversations with Christy YouTube channel that I contribute to, where we talked about the energy coming up for Capricorn season. With Mars retrograde, it's not a great time to move things forward. It is a really good time to strategize so that when things sort of start to loosen up and there's more energy for forward movement, we're ready to hit the ground running and we know exactly the direction we want to go. So I think what's really amazing about this Mars-Pluto opposition is that it does give us a beautiful chance to reflect on some of the bigger picture themes in our lives of what is working and what isn't. 2024 has been such a roller coaster of astrological energies that I think a lot of us have kind of gotten caught in the mindset of just like, make it through the day, make it through the week, don't plan too far in advance because who even knows what's going to happen? The energy of this Mars-Pluto opposition, and then the last Mars-Pluto opposition that we'll have on April 26th, this is really about strategizing, thinking, planning, and looking further ahead than we're probably used to doing coming out of the 2024 energies. So it is a really good chance to kind of, if we have been all in the weeds, all in the daily details, all in making it from one day to the next, this is a beautiful time to pull yourself way back, look at the 30,000 foot view, and get a sense of, oh, this is really working. I love this in my life. Or this is really not working. Something has to change here, or maybe I want to get rid of this thing entirely. So this is a beautiful reflection time. Christy over on the Conversations with Christy YouTube channel talks so much in such beautiful ways about the importance of journaling. And this is one of the reasons why journaling is so important. If you have a journal or have kept a journal in any way throughout 2024, this would be the time to spend the next couple of weeks looking back over those entries. What did you write? What were you thinking? You may find that things that felt like isolated instances at the time you wrote them, when you're looking back at all of the journal entries, you realize this is a pattern. This is bigger than any one individual incident I was thinking about. So again, this is why it's important to journal, important to have things to look back on during these astrological reflection times that we can use for strategizing for the future. And in case anyone is interested, Christy and I are also launching a 10 or 11 class tarot series. It's not, I almost called it an intro to tarot. It is in the sense that it is beginner friendly, but we really do spend time, a significant amount of time talking about every single card, as well as the ethics of reading cards, different card spreads and layouts. If you are interested in that class at all, please reach out to me at magicofthemoonastrology@gmail.com. And I can let you know pricing options and things like that. You can also go to my website, magicofthemoonastrology.com, go under offerings, and there's a page there linked to talk all about the tarot class. But we will be starting live Q&A sessions for people who are enrolled in this class starting in the new year. So if you enroll before the new year, or maybe you want to give this set of classes as a gift to one of your esoterically minded friends, They will be able to contribute in live bi-weekly Q&A conversations with Christy and myself to continue to really marinate in the material and become more confident reading tarot for themselves and others. I also just wanted to take this opportunity to wish everyone a really, really Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Solstice. This is a beautiful time of year as the darkness finishes. The solstice is, I think, late tonight. Um, and so we're looking towards, in the Northern Hemisphere, lengthening days and the returning of the light. And we have had all of this time over the fall to plant seeds and think about what we want to grow in 2025. And so it's exciting to kind of turn the corner of the solstice and start to look towards the fruits of some of those things we've planted in the fall. So thank you all so much for your time, your beautiful energy, your white light. So grateful for all of you. Take care and happy holidays.